to Rasulullah, then cry for Hussein and curse those who killed Hussein. Yabna Shabib, if you want the same reward as those who sacrificed their lives with Hussein in Karbala, then every time you remember Hussein, then say, Ya laytana kunna ma'akum Aba Abdullah fanafuza fawzan azima. If only we had been with you, O Aba Abdullah, what a mighty honor we would have achieved. Yabna Shabib, if you wish to be with us in this world and in the hereafter, then rejoice when we rejoice and grieve when we grieve. For by Allah, if a person attaches himself, these are the words of Imam al-Rida, he says, for by Allah, if a person attaches himself to a stone, Allah will raise him with that stone on the Day of Judgment. So attach yourself to us, the Ali Muhammad, and Allah will raise you with us, Yawmul Qiyamah, inshaAllah. So these are the nights as well to train our children and teach them what is Muharram. There has to be a difference in our homes from tonight. Absolutely. If you have a banner, if you don't even have a banner that says Ya Hussein, Ya Zainab, take a black cloth, put a black cloth in your living room, in your family room, so that your children know this is now Muharram. Have some rules in your house. These 12 days of Muharram, we will not be watching the television. We will not be watching movies on this night, because these are the days and nights of Hussein. Okay, so these are the ways in which we start training our children. These are the nights when Sayyida Zahra alayhi salam leaves Baqi. She comes to Karbala from these nights. Hussein is that gharib for whom all the Anbiya cried, from Adam to Khatam. Jibreel would come to every prophet. Oh Nuh, this is the story of Hussein. Nuh would cry. Ibrahim cried for Hussein. Musa cried for Hussein. Every one of them cried for Hussein until Hussein was about to come to this world. When Hussein was about to come to this world, he cried for himself. Because Fatima alayhi salam used to come to her father and say, Ya Abata, this child in my womb, I can hear it crying. Sometimes it says to me, Ana al-gharib, Ana al-madloom. When Hussein was born, the Prophet took Hussein in his arms. He began kissing Hussein. He began hugging his Hussein. Jibreel came to him. Oh Ahmad, do you love this child? He says, yes, I love this child very much. He said, oh Ahmad, your ummah will kill him after keeping him thirsty for 3 days. This is the first majlis recited by Jibreel. Rasulullah is listening to the majlis. Then Rasulullah recited this majlis and Ali and Fatima cried. Fatima did not ask, Ya Rasulullah, why should my Hussein die? She did not ask, Ya Rasulullah, who will bury my Hussein? Who will give kafan to my Hussein? She asked, Ya Rasulullah, who will cry for my Hussein? Because she knew this is how his sacrifices will survive. If the message of Karbala has survived for 1400 years, it is not through philosophies, not through discussions, it is through the tears that have flowed. She asked, who will cry for my Hussein? And the Prophet ﷺ told her, oh Fatima, Allah will create a nation. Their men will cry for the Hussein, men of Hussein. Their women will cry for the women of Hussein. Their children will cry for the children of Hussein. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is very often compared to the Prophet Yahya alayhi salam, because Yahya was also brutally killed. And there is another characteristics between these two as well. Imam Hussein had a very gentle nature. When you saw him, he radiated this kindness in his heart. You would cry simply seeing him. You would want to protect him. And it is for this reason that when you look at the history of Imam Hussein from his childhood, you will see that the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam could never tolerate seeing Hussein crying. Whenever Hussein was crying, somebody would try and stop that. Sometimes Rasulullah would be on the pulpit preaching to his ashab. Sayyida alayhi salam would dress Imam Hussein as a young child in new robes. Then she would send him into the mosque of the Prophet. Her house was attached to the mosque. Hussein would come running into the mosque like any child, and then he would stumble and trip on his robes. He would begin crying. When Hussein would cry, the Prophet would stop his khutbah. The ashab would begin carrying Hussein from the back of the mosque. Every one of them would lift Hussein and kiss him and pass him to the front in front until Hussein came to the front. Then Rasulullah would carry his Hussein on the mimbar and keep him on his lap and say, "O people, هذا حسين فاعرفوه. This is my Hussein, recognize him. حسين مني وأنا من الحسين. Hussein is from me and I am from Hussein." Read the shahadat of Rasulullah. You will see that when the Prophet was passing away, Hassan and Hussein were hugging him on both sides and crying. Imam Ali tried to take the children away. The Prophet said, "Leave my Hussein and Hassan with me." A few months later, Hussein lost his mother. Realize also how important Medina was to Hussein. Allama Majlisi says in Bihar al-Anwar that when Amir al-Mu'mineen had given ghusl and kafan to Fatima, he kept her body in a room. Then he called out and said, "Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein, Ya Zainab, Ya Kulthum, come, O children, and do wida to your mother, for this is the last time you will see her." Hussein did not come to his mother. He stood away in the corner. Allama Majlisi says, he quotes Imam Ali. He says, Amir al-Mu'mineen has said, "I swear by Allah, Fatima's hands came out from the coffin. They called out, 'Come, oh my Hassan and my Hussein.'" He says, "I swear by Allah, Fatima hugged her children." Amir al-Mu'mineen says, "I heard a voice calling out, 'Ya Abul Hassan, remove the children from Fatima, for by Allah the angels are weeping.'" Hussein grew up to be a young man. The year 40 AH came. Amir al-Mu'mineen was poisoned. Asbagh bin Nubata said, "The poison was so severe when I went to see Amir al-Mu'mineen, he had a yellow bed sheet on him. The skin on his color was so yellow you could not tell the difference from the face of Amir al-Mu'mineen and the bed sheet he was covered with." Hussein was sitting at the feet of Amir al-Mu'mineen crying. Ali called Hussein to him and hugged him. "Oh Hussein, do not cry. You have a lot to cry still after me." The year 50 AH came to be. Hussein sat beside his brother Hassan. Hassan was leaving this world poisoned. Hussein was crying. Aba Muhammad said to Aba Abdullah, "Why do you cry like this, O Hussein?" He said, "I cannot see the condition in which you are." Hassan says to Hussein, "Walakin la yawmuka yawmuka ya Aba Abdullah." But there is no day like your day, O Aba Abdullah. Who will cry for you, O Hussein? Hussein was left with Zainab and Kulthum in Medina. The year 60 AH came to be. Mid Rajab of 60 AH, Muawiyah died. Yazid came to power. Yazid sent a message to the governor in Medina, Walid bin Utbah, demand bay'ah from Hussein. Hussein must pledge allegiance, otherwise he must be forced to do so. A messenger came to Aba Abdullah. He was praying in the mosque of the Prophet. "Aba Abdullah, the governor summons you." Hussein realized something was wrong because this was evening. He said to the messenger, "Go, I will come shortly." He went back home. He called the Banu Hashim. "Abbas, you come as well. Akbar, you come as well." He took the young men of Hashim with him and went to the palace of Walid. When Imam Hussein went to see Walid, Marwan ibn al-Hakam Mal'un sitting with him, Walid gave him the news. Imam Hussein said to the Banu Hashim, "Wait outside. Unless you hear me raising my voice, do not come inside. We do not want them to think we are here for a confrontation." Aba Abdullah went in and began speaking to Walid. Walid says to him, "Muawiyah has died." Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, "Inna lillah." Walid says to him, "I have received a letter from Yazid that says you must pledge allegiance to him." Imam Hussein alayhi salam said to him, "O Walid, it is not appropriate for a man like me to be giving allegiance to a man like Yazid, and that too in secrecy at a time like this. Summon the people tomorrow morning in the mosque, and when you ask me in public, I will give you my reply." At this point, Marwan says to Walid, because he was an evil man, but he knew Hussein. He said, "Oh Walid, do not let Hussein go. If you do not take allegiance from Hussein now, you will never get him again. Kill Hussein right now unless he gives you allegiance." To which Imam Hussein alayhi salam is enraged at the idea that someone would threaten him when his Abbas is still alive. He turns to Walid and to Marwan. He says, "أَأَنْتَ يَبْنَ الزَّرْقَى تَقْتُلُونَنِي أَمْ هَذَا كَذَّبْتَ وَاللَّهِ." Will you, O son of an unchaste woman, kill me, or this man here? By Allah, you are lying, you will not kill me. But as soon as Hussein raised his voice, the doors of the court opened up. Abbas came in with a naked sword. Akbar came in. Qasim came in. Marwan and Walid realized they will not be able to force Hussein. Hussein went back home. He began discussing with his family and telling them, "We must leave overnight, and by early morning tomorrow we have to leave." It was decided some of the family members will stay back. Salma was to stay back. Al-Banin was to stay back. Abdullah bin Jaffar was to stay back. Muhammad al-Hanafiya was to stay back. Hussein's young daughter Fatima Sughra was to stay back. The others were all to go with Hussein. The women and the children and the men began preparing to leave. Sheikh Saduq says in his Amali that Hussein first went to bid farewell to the grave of Rasulullah. Hussein has always been in Medina. Hussein has always gone for the ziyarah of Rasulullah. This was very, very difficult, my brothers and sisters, for Hussein. Hussein went to the grave of Rasulullah. Sheikh Saduq says Hussein cried. When Hussein went into sajda, he went for a long time. At one point he had a vision. He had a mukashafa. He saw Rasulullah in his dream. Hussein said to the Prophet, "Ya Rasulullah, such afflictions have befallen me. Why do you not pray to Allah to take me back to you?" Rasulullah said to him, "O Hussein, كأني أراك مرمل بدمك وإن لك درجة في الجنة لا تناله إلا بالشهادة." "O Hussein, I can see you now rolling in your own blood. O Hussein, you have a rank in Jannah with Allah that you will not attain except through martyrdom. O Hussein, leave for Iraq." Hussein left the grave of the Prophet. He came back. Abdullah ibn Abbas came to Imam Hussein and said, "Yabna Rasulullah, why do you leave Medina? Stay in Medina, we will defend you." Imam Hussein said to Ibn Abbas, "Inna Allah sha'a yarani qatila." "Oh Ibn Abbas, Allah wants to see me being martyred." He said, "Then why do you take Zainab with you? Why do you take the women with you? Take the men alone." He said, "Yabna Abbas, inna Allah sha'a yarahunna sabaya." Allah wishes to see them captives, O Ibn Abbas. Sheikh Saduq says, when Hussein left the grave of the Prophet, now he came to Jannatul Baqi. Hussein sat at the grave of his brother Hassan and wept. When Hussein was done with the ziyarat, he came now to the grave of his mother Zahra. Some of the Arbab of Azhar say that when Hussein would go to the grave of the Prophet, he would walk with honor and dignity. He would walk with waqar and sakina. He would walk with tranquility. It was as if a mountain was going to visit the Prophet. But when Hussein would come to the grave of his mother, Hussein would run like a little child runs to his mother. Hussein would walk hastily to his mother. I do not know what Hussein said at the grave of Zahra. Perhaps he said to her, "Amma, this is my last ziyarah to you. Amma, after this day Hussein will not come and do salam to you." I would not be surprised if a voice came from the grave and said, "Go, O Hussein. I am with you, following you, O Hussein. Wherever you go, Zahra is with you. Wa Husayna, wa Madluma." Matam Hussein.